Well, today we're going to look at a range of toys from the 1970s, and this is the Gabrielle Lone Ranger range. Sounds wrong, doesn't it? Lone Ranger range. So these were toys that I had a few of when I was a kid. These are all ones I've got since. These were always high-end toys, so like your rich cousin would have them, and I did have a cousin who we thought was rich because he had all the toys and he had the whole range, and we used to go around and play and just sort of lust after these figures. They always seemed a bit of a cut above things like Mego. I love Mego. Mego are brilliant, but they always felt a little bit cheap, especially Action Jackson figures. The clothes were always a bit cheap, a bit less detailed. But these Lone Ranger figures, a bit like the Fighting Fury Matchbox figures, these seem to come with the best accessories and the best clothes and really well thought out sort of sets that gave you the most play value. The big drawback, of course, was that everything was sold separately, so most people would probably have a Lone Ranger or a Tonto or a Butch Cavendish, but then couldn't afford the horses, because I seem to remember the horses were just as expensive as the figures. For some reason I ended up with the bridle set for the horse and no horse. So it's just what a weird childhood I had. So if we look at each figure in turn, then let's take them apart. I got to be careful with Silver because I've just glued his feet. Okay, well, Silver has turned up from eBay. He's in really nice condition. He has a few issues. That's my glasses gone on the floor. One of them is he's got a broken foot. So the foot's all there. So I'm going to try and glue that. It's not going to be used as a movable bit, really, so it's going to be a display piece, so I use that, but otherwise in good condition. Obviously what it does need is a good old clean, so you can see it's got sort of dust and a bit of mildew. And so I'm going to clean it up, glue the foot, and then we can do the review. So he's a lovely wash, and this has come out. I just got this one on eBay. My wife bought it for me, and it came in boxed. I say it's missing the I don't know what the reins, I suppose you'd call them. Everything else seems to be there. The leg was broken, but it's glued nicely. It's still drying, so I don't want to move it too much. The Silver figure is gorgeous. I never had this figure as a kid, and it's fully mobile. So it's got a joint on the neck. The legs are jointed in 3 places each, front and back. The tail is jointed. The saddle and the I don't know what you call it, tackle. Horse's tackle. No. Do you call it tackle? I don't know, but whatever you call the accoutrement for the horse is in really good condition. I need to wash those. But I want to get a hairdryer on the because they're rubber, and the joints, you know, where they go together, like they're a sort of socket and arrow sets. And I just want to get a hairdryer before I take it off. So I've washed it all in one, but oh, he's lovely, isn't he? Let's look at the box, actually, because the box is the artwork. Again, the artwork on these boxed figures. Let's have a look. The trouble with these, are so big, I've got to pull back a bit. So figures not included. Why show them? So this is, the painting is gorgeous. The artwork on this series was wonderful. Fully jointed rear in action stallion with stand. I don't know why stallion gets a capitalized letter. Silver. From out of the past comes the thundering hoofbeats of the Lone Ranger's great horse. The Lone Ranger rides again. Marx Toys. And that's interesting. Marx. So I wonder, was Marx a subsidiary, or was Gabrielle a subsidiary of Marx? Because everything else, all the toys have got Marx labels on them. I've got Gabrielle labels on them. Yeah, it's interesting. I might have to look that up and find out. Perhaps Marx just did the horses under license or something, because it is a very Marx-like solid plastic build, whereas the figures are not. I have to look into that. But yeah, so absolutely corking box, really good condition. It's the same on the back, and then on the sides it's just the same right up. It's my cat playing in the background. So yeah, I'm really glad to have a box. I know you can get repro boxes for the figures, but yeah, it's not the same, is it? Not the same. So yeah, so that's Silver. He's really good, really jointed. Nice face. He's got soft rubber tail and soft rubber mane. But let's just push him to the back a bit. So let's look at the hero of this range. and this is the Lone Ranger, or as kids we used to call him, the bank manager, because he was a lone arranger. No. So this one came in really bad condition, and this is generally what you'll find, is that the cloth and the dye that they used to make his blue uniform just fades like mad. I mean, it's very rare to get one in the deep blue colour that it was to start with. But I quite like it in a faded. So this one came, it was really dirty. I had to wash him, put all poppers back on. I had to make a mask, so the mask is just made out of an old inflatable. They never come with guns. This is a gun I got separately. The guns always get lost. The belt always gets lost. So this is what I mean by the quality. So the trousers have got poppers, but also a belt, and then you get a gun belt on top. The clothes would be weird in that they would do up on the sides, presumably because the bodies are made out of very solid plastic. They're not jointed like Migos with elastic. They've actually got springs inside. So another thing you'll find is that it's rare to find one with a body that isn't cracked or isn't the springs haven't gone rusty and broken. Lots of these have missing hands and things. Boots are hard to get hold of. They're getting quite rare altogether. In fact, loose stuff is really well played with. You're probably better off trying to save up and get a mint boxed or something. Let me take his hat off. Okay. Hat stuck to his head there. And then he could take his mask off for doing his adventures. And I can't remember what Lone Ranger's sort of non-Lone Rangery name was. You can see the masks discolour the face a lot. So you have to watch that. The Lone Ranger seems to be one of the easier figures to get hold of. Presumably they made more of him. But a gorgeous figure, very nice, really well jointed. The joints generally remain quite stiff because they're solid plastic, but they're well put together, so you don't tend to get floppy Lone Rangers. So that's the Lone Ranger, he's nice. And then of course he always came with his trusty sidekick, the slightly racial worrisome Tonto. And there's a big thing at the moment about that the poor Indian is always the sidekick to the white man. It is weird when you think about it, very imperialist. But they made a Tonto figure, and he's really nice. He came with a sort of mock buckskin outfit, which really doesn't age well. A lot of these are sort of threadbare. They seem to be an absolute sort of mecca for moths and things. So you get lots with holes and patches. This one, Apache Indian. No, that's probably racist as well. This one I got off eBay recently. Again, my wife saw this one. It was a bargain. It's absolutely lovely condition. Again, no guns. Guns all missing. Guns go for like between 5 and 10 quid each. It's mad. He did come with a rifle. Or I tell a lie, he did come with one gun, like that's the Lone Ranger, because he's got a rifle. Great sculpts, really nice. He also came with a totem pole, which is from one of the other sets, and then he also came with some saddlebags, which I need to affix to Silver there. Remember the Boone song, Hi Ho Silver? Probably get copyright striked if I sang it. He also came with a water bag. I think that's from this range. It might not be. That could be off of Mark's Best of the West. But again, absolutely gorgeous figure. One of the nicest of the figures in the range. Lots of detail on him. He came with moccasins, not boots, and they're quite hard to get hold of. And then the main bad guy was Butch Cavendish, who is an ugly fella. Oh, he's dropped his gun. Again, look at that sculpt. That is such a nice characterful sculpt. He came in his trademark black outfit. Is that dodgy as well? I don't know. He came with a natty little gingham waistcoat. This one again was in really poor condition, so I had to do a lot of sewing work on him. Again, all does up by the... this one doesn't do it by the sides, this does it front. But again, Tonto's does it by the side. Nice boots. Again, no guns, but he did come with a gun belt, so happy about that. Let me take his hat off. Look at that. He's an ugly man. It's like he's the villain, so they've given him warts. When you think about it, this toy range is all screwed up, isn't it? Wouldn't get made today. Luckily, in the 70s, they didn't care. You could get various outfits and disguises and things for the main characters. They also did some figures that I'm not sure whether they ever appeared in the UK, but certainly in America you get them of like, there was a Red Sleeves the Indian, and there was a Mexican Bandito, but I never saw them as a kid, so I don't know whether they were available or whether just our local Woolies didn't stock them. But this is a range of toys that you can still pick up fairly cheaply. I think I paid 15 quid for both of the Lone Ranger and Butch, but like I say, they were bad condition, but they're quite easy to repair. I think it was about 15 for Tonto with all the bits, and I think for the Boxed Horse it was about 20, so very affordable figures to get hold of. A mint boxed Lone Ranger is probably going to set you back about 80 quid, something like that. You can get repro boxes if you want to do that, but yeah, it's a nice range. I'm glad I'm sort of getting back into it, and I'm going to try and pick up ones as I see them. It's just so much childhood memories. They're slightly larger than like Megos or Fighting Fury. So here's a Fighting Fury, and it's a slightly larger figure. So it was weird as a kid, you couldn't use Lone Ranger outfits on like standard Megos. So, but you could use it on like the Mego Tom Baker figure. So he was 10 inches tall, he was the same size, so I would often buy the Lone Ranger outfits and put them on Tom Baker. As you do as a kid, you mix and match, use your imagination. The outfits you could pick up certainly well past when the figures were available. I remember getting a few boxed outfits. I wish I still had, like the bartender outfit, and I got them from a local scrapyard of all places. They used to have if anyone remembers it, in Challow scrapyard out past Bicester in Oxfordshire, and they used to have a big warehouse, and they would buy remaindered stock of stuff, so you'd get things like the Mego Moonraker figures, stuff like that, and they had a big box of the outfits, and they must have been fairly cheap, you know, for my parents to allow me to buy a few of them. I just loved them, and you got so many extras in them, like little bottles of whiskey and glasses and things like that. So yeah, well worth picking up when you see them. Things to watch out for, like I say, are cracked and broken bodies, knackered clothes, though you can repair them. The thing to note is all of these, so like you can see everything's glued together, so they're not screwed, so getting these bodies apart is a nightmare. It's pretty much impossible without destroying them. I think Toypoloy did a video on where he tried to take one apart, and you're not going to repair them by taking them apart to be able to resell them or anything. If you're doing it for display, it's fine. Or just keep an eye out for ones that aren't knackered. They are about, and they're not that expensive, so there's not really any point buying broken ones. It's not like Action Men where you could buy lots of hands and swap them, because you just cannot get the arms apart. They're solid, and there's not a lot of action in the hands, but they're almost impossible to replace. But yeah, so things to watch out for. The masks are always missing, the guns are always missing. The outfits are usually in poor condition for the Lone Ranger, unless you've had a boxed one that's like never been in the sun. As soon as these hit the sun, they started fading. Yeah, it's just picking up the little bits. The hats are generally missing, but they're lovely figures. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed looking at this blast from the past. Will he fit back on? I need to play with the way he holds on. There you go. So it's a nice ending shot there of the Lone Ranger on silver. Hi ho, silver and away. Yeah, worth looking out for, worth picking up. If I get any more, I will certainly do a video about them. But thanks for watching. If you want to see more of this, please like and subscribe. Let me know in the comments what you used to have in the range. Did you have a favourite figure, favourite outfit? What did you do with your figures? Did they die at the hands of an air gun like most of mine did. I was a very destructive child. But yeah, thanks a lot, and I'll see you again next time. Thanks then. Bye.